Is there anything specific we want to talk about, or just
The Blue River.
oh my gosh, Riley?
What is up, guys? Is AR Fly Bros here. Unfortunately, the trout season is over. So we're doing a final season recap, looking forward to the future, talking about what happened during the season. And well, yeah, that's about it. We're going to see where the conversation goes and just let this video take it from there. So to get started, how's fly tying going?
This season was huge. I went from tying a couple flies each year because I wasn't that great at it.
Mhm.
Just a little DVD that came with my starter kit, my fly tying starter kit, and occasionally watch some YouTube videos, but I really never got into it because I could never make them look good, honestly.
Yeah,
That and never caught anything on my flies.
true.
Um,
Part of which is because the two fly setup, honestly.
yes, it is. It is. And so now we fast forward to this year, 2023, 2022, 2023 trout season at the Blue. Just so many improvements this year.
Oh yeah.
It started out with you bought so many flies to start off the year, and then I'm like, hey man, you should tie some flies. You should start tying. You bought your kit, and here we, yeah,
2 weeks
exactly.
later, I had a new vise.
Yeah, exactly. Tying all the
Oh,
time. And then, that kind of, I was up here at school, didn't have my vise with me. But as soon as I got back, then I started tying a bunch. We met up every time before we went to the Blue, tied a ton of flies. And then, it's like with anything, the more you tie, the better you're going to get.
yes,
Um,
I
with
agree.
you having 5,000 flies tied under your belt, I've tied nowhere near that many, but Riley's definitely addicted to tying flies, which is a
Yeah,
good thing.
so
I saw a lot of improvement in my flies this year, how they looked and how they produced, obviously with the double setup like we were talking about. Um, but it was we had a crazy year this
oh
year.
yeah. And some of the flies I saw fish bite were just insane flies that I never would have used myself. So,
For real.
yep. Plus, I feel like whenever you get into fly tying, you realize things about flies and about the trout that you don't realize if you just buy flies.
I
So,
agree.
like, I don't know, like partridge. We had no clue what that was. I bought it from Donovan and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. It's nice little elk hair, I don't even know what it imitates, but it's nice. It's not elk hair. And it definitely doesn't imitate wings like I originally thought. It imitates legs. So just stuff like that. The moth or the mega worm being fish guts.
Yeah,
So color being a big issue that I didn't even know about before this year.
yeah, I agree.
So yeah, just you just realize a lot, and I feel like you get more chemistry with the fish if you
Yeah,
actually tie up with their biting, and then it works.
I agree 100%. And with all those improvements, we saw not only the number of fish go up that we've caught, the size in fish we caught this
Yes.
this
Oh yeah.
season. We'll get into it later. Yes, but
Um.
the feeling you get when you catch, just the feeling you get when you catch a trout fly fishing, in any fish fly fishing is amazing,
Yes.
especially a trout, double amazing. But then when
Yep.
you catch a trout on your own fly that you tied with your own hand,
Yep.
it's
I
just
agree.
amazing. It's
It really
amazing.
is.
I mean, we went last year from wanting to fish our main spot the whole day at Desperado.
Never fishing it twice in a row.
Yeah.
At least
And
for
this year
me.
we explored so much and got so much better at fishing the Blue River, and it's helped us
Yep.
catch so many more fish. That's
Yep.
another reason why we caught more.
Yep. I agree. We catch a lot. I mean, last year there were a few times we went an hour without catching a fish, but other than my two back-to-back bad days, I never went an hour without catching fish. But those were pretty rough days. I don't know. Yeah, let's start at the beginning of the season. So I went to the Blue River before Adam did, and I fished the Derby for probably an hour or two. Went to Scotty's and decided I don't want to fish with all these people again. Plus, I didn't have a good spot. I saw where most of the Derby guys were fishing, and I was nowhere near where they were. So I'm like, man, I'm just gonna go back home to the spot and fish. And wow, I got there and all day, nonstop, almost every cast, I was catching one on San Juan, and people were looking at me
Debut
and
of the
just
San Juan, right?
do what?
The debut of the San Juan, right?
Yes, and it was insane. Like people, there were fly fishermen all around. After probably 3 hours of being there, there were fly fishermen who appeared and just weren't catching anything, and they were just staring at me. It was great. So that's where my journey started. Then December came. Adam joined me starting
November.
December. Yep, this was the second AR Fly Bros video. And this is where the channel kind of took a turn. We came from just recording random stuff at the Blue to actually focusing on catches and other stuff. And then our channel the videos just kept improving, in my opinion. And the season just kept getting better also.
Yeah, camping trip was amazing. It started off really interesting as we were at my house. Uh, Before we left, we were obviously Riley's a Bengals fan. We were watching the Bengals Bills game, and everyone knows how that game went. But it was obviously we were in shock as we were driving down to the Blue River because we thought we just watched a professional football player die while we were watching the game. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it was crazy. We get there to the Blue, and oh my goodness, this camping trip was unbelievable. Just we got our favorite camping spot. That was nice. Um, the bite was amazing. Just great fishing. We caught great fish that we were able to eat. And the camping trip, we explored so much too.
We did.
I feel like that was a really big exploring trip for us. We found new spots that we love to fish, and just our knowledge of the Blue gained so much the more we fished and the better areas we fished. And you
Like,
saw, if you've seen our videos from the camping trip, you see all the different areas we fish and the success we have as well.
and for like the first time on the camping trip, for the first time ever that we can go anywhere on the Blue, look at a spot and know where to fish it in order to catch fish. I think the camping spot was the first time that we noticed that, especially at the hidden waterfall spot whenever we realize that we can catch stuff there even if they don't stock it. So
Yep.
so yes, just a really cool camping trip.
Yeah. And like you were talking about, day 3 when we fished north of Highway, we started out just trying to find different spots to fish there, and we were catching fish. Like the second your point there that we can go anywhere, our confidence of being able to catch fish at the Blue River is crazy with our improvement in flies and technique, everything.
Yeah, technique too. My casting got better. Not on the camping trip, but I had like two really rough patches this season. It was really insane. I've never had two rough patches like that since I started the two fly setup where I just wasn't catching anything. I was watching everyone else catch stuff. I knew they were biting, and I was just struggling. But then I walked up to catch and release, and I lost tons of fish, and it just kept going downhill. But I remember getting to my car that night, throwing my hat in my car, all ticked. I'm like, this is the first time I'm leaving the Blue not happy. I mean, 2 trips in a row, barely catching anything. I was pretty ticked. But I came back right after that and just killed the rest of the season. It was great. So
Yep. That's exactly right.
but I wish Adam could have joined me for some of the days that I was at the Blue. There were some days that he didn't join me at the Blue. Like I think like at least 5 times, if not more. He didn't join me at the Blue when I caught over 50 fish. My most insane days, 70, I had 270 plus days this season. I think it was both of them was when Adam wasn't there. But I do remember there was like a 60 fishing day, which was our first time at Honey, if I'm correct. That was pretty insane. Oh man, some days I just imagine eating that trout on the fire there.
The trout was so good.
Yep.
It was kind of cold, but you live with that.
Yep.
It was in first of January, first couple days of January. We were out there, ate some great fish, caught so many fish. It was such a fun time.
It was. I definitely better than last year's in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
And I'm hoping we get our camping spot for 3 years. A
I
long way
know,
to go
right?
before then.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's your favorite memory for this season?
Oh man, favorite memory. Like three specific memories or as one specific memory?
Just any, like you can say as many
Any?
as you want. You can say yours first, I'll say mine, and then you can say another one if you want.
All
Then I'll
right.
say
So the first one is the Derby. Um this year's Derby was very special, as I will got the hat here, Blue River Trout Derby.
yes.
Um, this was a very, very special day. As the year before, we quote unquote fished the Derby, um, and did not have the success we wanted to. That Derby was on our minds. This year's Derby was on our minds all the way since last year. We had
Yes.
unfinished business with the Derby,
Yep.
um, and we were very motivated for this Derby.
Yeah, we were.
And I mean, just I can't believe. I mean, I remember asking you the day before because I didn't. Did I have my flies? I was out of supplies. I was up at school, so I couldn't tie any more flies. I asked you to tie me up a couple,
Heck
and
yeah.
one specific fly that he put in my box literally changed everything this season. And it was unbelievable.
And I was
We're in the
talking
pit.
about it for like 3 weeks before that.
Yes. Riley was hyping up this fly for so long. He puts one in my box, just one, just one. Just throw it in there to be nice. And I was very thankful for it, obviously, because I didn't have the supplies at the time to tie it. Um, but we're out there in the pitch dark. We all got headlamps on. There's like 7 guys out there, when you say,
Yep.
all got our headlamps on with the red light on. I remember that. And
Yes. All of us, all seven. I
all
don't
of
know
us had
why.
our
We
red
just
lights.
were.
Yeah. And Riley is like looking around, just, I mean, it's pitch dark and we weren't getting any bites really. I think I might have caught one in the dark, one or two, but they were small. Um, and the next thing you know, Riley's indicator goes down. He doesn't even see it at first. I should be letting you tell this because you tell it way better. But
You're good. But I don't even know how long my indicator was gone, to be honest. I was looking away for quite a while because my indicator was right here. Adam was right here. I was just talking. I was like, wait until the sun came up. I'm not fishing right now, you know?
it was
So
very quick, I will add, that morning.
yes. Yep. But no, I'm just talking and I look back, my indicator's gone, and I'm like, 90% of the time, whenever you catch a trout and your indicator goes down, immediately it's coming back up and you already lost it if you're looking away. This thing was down and it was a 1 inch indicator since it was dark. A small trout, that would not have happened. It just wouldn't have. So as soon as I saw that thing gone, I'm like I in that split second, I put it in my head. This is a derby trout. I knew it was, and then I started fighting it. And I'll have Adam explain that because he's the one who saw it in third person.
Yeah.
Then
So
I'll
the
explain his fight.
yeah, the fight was insane. Um, Obviously, I look over. It's dark. I'm probably about 10 yards away from Riley, so I can't see everything close up with it being dark.
Mhm.
So I had no idea. Obviously, I knew he had a fish on, but Riley gets overly excited for any fish. The smallest
Every
fish he's ever
fish.
caught in his year. He gets so
Bluegill.
excited.
Holy
Yeah,
crap, I just got
exactly.
a big one.
So I'm like, oh, okay, it's just Riley catching a fish. I didn't think anything of it yet because it was in the dark. I was like, there's no way we're gonna catch a derby trout in the dark, right? Riley starts going crazy. Then next, I hear the splash in the water of the fish rise as Riley's fighting it. And I'm like, I have never heard a trout splash that big in
I
my
know.
life when fighting it.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, is this real? But then again, I still can't see. That was just hearing. I was like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
it's not.
And it was
Next thing
pitch
I
black. So
Yes. Next thing I know, Riley is like almost running in the water. He's trying to net this fish and he's chasing it around. I was telling him like, be still, let it come to you. But he was just running around trying to chase it. And the
I'll
next
drop
thing
off one
I
time.
remember, I'm 10 yards away. And the fish ends up right next to me. And when it gets that close, I put my light down and I see how big this fish is. And dude, I lost my mind. I
Yeah,
was like, there's no way he has a derby fish on. Are you kidding me?
already.
Yes. It was unbelievable. I wish we could have got it on GoPro, but it
I
was
know.
dark. So, but the fight was amazing. Just, I mean, the feeling when they first hit, like you felt like it was a brick,
Yeah.
like, right?
The hit, yeah, the hit is crazy.
Yeah. Riley probably misnetted it 3 times.
3 times. Yeah, it was 3 times.
And then what happened when you got it in the net? Because it was so big,
It
it could
was so
barely.
big. It was so big. It's bigger than those White River Bass Pro nets. So
Yeah. It was
yeah,
half of the
no,
fish sticking out of the net.
the whole time you're just scared that you're gonna lose it.
Yes. The
Um,
adrenaline. Yeah.
I have two problems. One, misnetting, and two is following the fish in the water. Um, misnetted a golden trout at the blue this year, but I don't. I mean, it's fine, I guess. But yeah, no, I was really scared I was gonna misnet that one.
It's
Just
a very scary feeling.
it's like they run out of oxygen really quick because they're big, and then as soon as they see that net, they get all the oxygen back. I'm like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah. So Riley's was probably 6 in the morning,
Yep, most
didn't you
definitely.
say?
And
Still dark.
yep, and I didn't fish till the sun came up right after that. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I think
Yeah.
next time I got my pole in the water is sunny. But Adams was at I think 9:35.
Yep.
Um, he got his right whenever I was going to Scotty's to get coffee and breakfast. And no, as soon as he started fighting it, I knew it was a derby trout, and there were probably 5 guys around him who knew it was a derby trout too. Like I could tell these guys. This guy had his pole in the water with he had a spinning reel spinner. His pole was in the water and everything, and he was just watching Adam. He wasn't even fishing, and Adam's just over here feeding the line through. um, yeah, so we were both stupid with how we fought the fish. I think we learned a lot though, especially this last blue trip.
Yes,
I
I
think we
agree.
learned a lot. But
I agree.
no, it was great. I knew Adam got one. I totally forgot the GoPro was on my head because I definitely should have started it up. But no, good times. I mean, and very scary times too. Like you think you're gonna lose them. The
Yeah.
adrenaline, do
Yes,
what
the adrenaline is crazy.
it
Crazy.
is. Yep.
When it first hit, I a small thought in my head was like, okay, this could be the one. But I didn't get overly excited because there's a lot of times when a fish feels good, for
Yeah.
both of us, and it
Oh,
wasn't a
especially
great,
at the blue. Yep.
yeah. And knowing this was the Derby, I was like, I don't want to get too excited.
So you don't want to be let down. Yeah.
But my heart was racing fast. My adrenaline went
Bad.
up, and as soon as the fish rose up, like when I was fighting it, and I saw the splash, I knew it was a Derby trout, and I could barely breathe. I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest.
That's yep.
Like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yes.
And then the fight trying to get it in, and I started crying as soon as I got it in the net.
Yeah, he did. It was, and that we did get the netting like whenever I got back in the water on video, but nothing else, sadly. So if you
I
want to
do
check that video,
remember I do remember turning to you and saying, "This is the one."
yeah, yep,
When we were on the shore, I do remember saying that once I knew it was a Derby fish.
that was
But I
great.
think that's my number one memory from this year.
I agree. The catching the derby trout, you using the partridge pheasant.
Yes.
Then there's another one. There's another one that I specifically like. So I'm just gonna not even mention the last trip we had for now because that was just such an amazing trip. Like definitely my favorite fishing day of my whole entire life. It beats the Derby just because of the amount of fish we caught. The Derby, of course, because of that one fish, it wins. But the last trip we had was just my favorite trip ever.
Crazy.
But there's one memory. So I was having a bad morning one day at home, and this was my first bad morning. This is the first time Adam has outfished me between 6 and 8 a.m. like ever, and it was a pretty tough morning for me. I think I caught one between 6 and 12, and then we decided to go to Scotty's.
Yes.
Right after Scotty's, we headed to north of Highway 7, tried out new spots for the first time. And it was slow there. I think we tied roughly at that area, but I didn't really care how many we caught at that spot. We just needed to learn it. And so that spot was fun. It was worth it. And then we get to the hidden spot was camping trip. No. This is the camping trip. This is the last day of
This
camping
was
trip.
day 3 of the camping trip, yes.
Yep. And then went to the hidden spot, caught one in just an insane spot. And it was cut completely open. The fish was. It was bad. Yeah, so I don't even think I've been at 10 yet. And this is my first time not getting at 10 before probably 11 a.m., 10 a.m., more than likely 9 a.m. all year.
Yeah, literally.
So I'm like, man, Adam's going to outfish me today, which I was fine with. It wasn't that. It was the 20 streak that I need to keep going.
Yeah.
I was on like, I think like a 15 streak of getting over 20 fish at the blue in one day. And it was about to be broke. I came into desperate like at 7 or 8, one of the two, get to desperate and start catching stuff immediately on eggs. Eggs caught 2, change flies. Caught 2 on another fly, change flies. Caught another 2, change flies. And the next fly I put on caught me around 8 fish. Just an insane fly. But lost them in the tree as soon as I hit 20. So, but yeah, no, that comeback was definitely one of my favorite memories this year. It was great.
That was impressive because I really thought you were about to lose your streak.
I know. And man, just that last minute comeback.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Another
For me, I'm trying to think here. Another one would be I can't remember which trip it was. It was early. It was pretty early on in the season. The video at home, I was watching it earlier today when we both catch one at the same time.
Yeah.
And our lines crossed and we were stuck. And then Riley, I pull my fish out of the water. Riley thinks it's his because our lines have been crossing the whole time. And I go to net my fish, but Riley sticks his net out because he thinks it's his.
Yes.
So I'm like, hey, what are you doing? That's my fish. So I net my fish. This is crazy. I can't believe this happened. And we got it on video too. That's what was crazy.
Yes, it was so fun.
I get my fish in the net. Our lines are still crossed like this. So Riley, I have to lift my pole up. Riley has to go underneath me to get our lines uncrossed. And then he fights his fish for about another 30 seconds and finally gets in it.
It was amazing. I think that was the best catch we've caught on video.
Yes, so I agree 100%.
We would have had a lot of great catches this past trip, but we didn't. I love fishing the new spots this year, Starter and the Rocks. Definitely the most fished area is the Desperado, which is so fun. Yeah. I love getting out to that deep water area at both spots. They're both pretty deep and casting right into the stream. Great spots. Honey, Tragedy. That day caught a bass at Tragedy and then just boom, like 20 fish at Tragedy is one of my favorite memories. Honey, I've had, I think 3 to 4 30+ days at Honey, or 20+. Yeah. I'll go with that. So crazy. Just insane. And then the last trip, that was just a great day. I missed a golden trout whenever it was pitch black. Adam beat me the first time where he beat me where I was actually fishing.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. It was 10-8. Adam, he beat me. I mean, he did. I lost a lot of fish, lost a few at the stream. I started making a comeback. I came from 5-1 to 5-5, and then yep. But
For those of you that don't know, we have a competition to 10, the
yep.
first to 10.
Which
And then
the
we stop
most
because we can never remember.
the most insane one this year was whenever we were at starter, and I think Adam was up.
Day 2 of the camping trip.
Yep. I think Adam was up 9-7.
Yeah.
I got tangled. Lost both flies. I'm like, man, this is I'm done. So I didn't actually give up. I tried to do as quick as I could, put together 2 new
tied a
flies.
knot in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
I don't know how you do
I use the Eugene knot. It's really easy. You just fold it 3 times and put the loop in. Very quick knot. So I did that and then cast it out. Got one, caught another, and then caught another, and then boom, the comeback. So that was great. And but yeah, that's it whenever it comes to my favorite memories. What about you?
I agree with all those, and I just did think of one more as my third and final for this season. It was our first time at Tragedy. You were catching a fish. I was watching you. I casted back. You were finishing your fish, netting it, and it was a good fish, good sized fish. So I was watching you before I went back forward and casted. So I go to cast forward, and I was like, "Oh crap! There's a lot of rocks at Tragedy." I throw forward and like I'm stuck, and I'm like, "What? Is there a rock? Dang it! I'm gonna have to walk back there." And then the next thing you know, my pole tip starts bobbing like this, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness! I got a fish on!"
Yeah.
I caught a fish behind me. So that was amazing. It was crazy trying to fight it by turning around, but that was an awesome memory for me this year too.
I did that for the first time this last trip, so I was pretty excited about that. It was in the stream also. Yeah, just a great feeling whenever you go leave it back and then you go back to casting, you're like, shoot, that's a fish. It's just insane.
So we got about 4.5 minutes left. I see the timer at the top. It's running out. I didn't know that. But I want to talk real quick about how much we've grown this year. We talked about last year barely being able to catch stuff on the fly to this year, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70 fish a day.
Yep.
Every trip about in that range for both of us. Just unbelievable. The double fly setup, tying our own flies. We talked about that. Our own brand. We started our own brand, made our own YouTube channel. And it's just amazing what has happened this year.
It really is. It's insane, really. The amount we've grown, and it's not really even the 2-fly setup that made us grow. It's our strategies this year. Like, because we fished half of last season with the 2-fly setup, even if it doesn't feel like it. And we grew a lot this year compared to last year, just because the strategies that we used this year were just great. They really were, from streamers to drifting eggs to using pheasant tails correctly for the first time ever, which we weren't doing last year, even if we did go off with them. So just a lot of strategies.
Streaming was huge for us.
Yes, we didn't do that at all last year, which this year, whenever we did streaming, even in areas that don't have a stream, we slaying. I mean, I caught more with the streamer this past trip at spots I would catch more with an egg at. Just streaming, we got really good at it, and I'm glad, because it's actually really fun if you have not tried it before.
It is very fun. All right, you want to wrap up with this last trip we just had?
Yes.
Week and a half ago about.
Okay, you can start it.
Just like we talked about earlier, this was the second best trip. Obviously, the Derb being one because we caught our biggest fish, 5 pounds and 4.9 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
For Riley. Just amazing day that was. But this was the second best trip of the year.
I agree.
They double stocked the last stocking of the year. They stocked so many fish in the blue, and they stocked so many big fish. We've never seen so many big fish. Yes.
2 to 3 pounders.
Both of us caught at least 15 each of 2 to 3 pounders. I'm dead serious.
Insane fights. I mean,
crazy. They fought harder than the Derby trout.
Yeah. And I 100% am really glad about this day because we needed fights like that. We need fights to wake us up about these actual fish, like these actual good sized fish, because the first three I lost and I had no clue what was going on. I was not ready for catch and release size fish. But after losing that third one, I lost one more, I think, after that. But I started getting a grip on how to catch these fish. And I think it's great practice that we needed this year leading into next year because unfortunately, catch and release fish are those same size, but they're more rare to find. But we're still going to go to catch and release just for that reason, even if we only catch two. So I think it was great practice for next year's catch and release and the Derby and potentially bass this year. So, yep.
Yes, the trip was amazing. Caught so many big fish. We were shocked. We couldn't believe what we were catching in the areas we were at. We never caught fish that big there.
Nope. And not many people get to experience that. So
yes, that's true.
I'm really glad we did. I'm glad we came.
Hoping we can experience. This is a yearly way to end the blue trip. You know.
Yep.
Hoping.
I just hope it happens every year. Yep.
So as the video is about to cut out, I think, but we got some future plans. The middle of May, we're going to keep this channel going. That's what I wanted to say. Not just with trout, since trout season's over. We want to keep fishing and fly fishing for bass. We want to get into that a lot this year. The middle of May, we're taking a Texoma striper guide out. So we'll have video content of that, which will be very awesome. And you'll see a lot of big fish caught.
Five 226 2277 to win.